Welcome to the Style and Grace podcast, maintaining mental health and tackling real life issues, honesty and compassion. Where style meets substance and grace meets real life experiences.
Hey, y'all. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Style and Grace podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Victoria, and I am starting this new month with a heart full of gratitude because today we are celebrating something major. The Style and Grace podcast is officially 7 months old. 7 months of showing up, sharing, healing, laughing, praying, learning, and growing together. I'm just so incredibly thankful for every listener, every message, every moment. If you have ever tuned in, reposted, shared, or simply sent me love, please know it does not go unnoticed. This podcast has become such a special part of my life. And to celebrate a new month with this milestone, yeah, I'm just going to send it that for a second. But let me take you back, as those of you who know, like this podcast lived on my heart for over 5 years before I even picked up the mic. I had the name changed, I had the vision, but I also had fear of not being ready, fear of not having it all, fear of not having it all figured out, and fear of what people might say. But one thing I did learn, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be obedient. And shout out to Kendria, Monet, Jessica Janae for literally gifting me a mic and saying, you know what, girl, here, go ahead and start your podcast. And at that time, that was one of the confirmations that I needed. And even though I didn't have all the answers, I decided to, write the vision out. And, that was like in 2019, and then this year decided to start the podcast scared, but being faithful and knowing that, God gave me this vision and everything will fall into place. 7 months later, we are here and the podcast is still growing. That alone is a blessing. What has truly humbled me is the amount of feedback that I've received over the past few months. The DMs, the emails, the conversations. So many of you have told me this podcast has given you the courage to go back to school, start your business, to make peace with something or someone that's been holding you back. And that's when I knew, you know what, you're on the right path because this was never about being perfect. And for those of you who know me, I kind of strive for perfection and that kind of delayed me in a lot of areas. But now I'm learning, it's about being obedient. And in my obedience is encouraging someone else to take the next leap too. And that's more than enough for me. So don't sit on what God has given you. You have no idea who your obedience will bless. Y'all, one of the most listened to episodes this far was the Real Talk, Real Questions with my girl Monet. And people still are talking about that episode. This episode reminded me of how powerful honest conversations are. No fluff, no filter, just two homegirls showing up as their authentic selves and letting it flow. And that's the energy I want to keep bringing to the podcast. Now, let me speak to the dreamer right now. Dreamers, are you listening to the vision that won't let you sleep? The business idea that you've been afraid to start, the book, the ministry, the move that you keep on second guessing. If God gave it to you, He will provide for it. It's not a matter of if, it's about trusting when and how. It won't always look like how you imagine. You might feel unqualified. You might not have the resources or the support you think you need, but here's what I know for sure. God blesses movement, not perfection. God blesses movement and not perfection. Movement. Start where you are. Use what you have and watch how things begin to shift. There have been times where I didn't know how I was going to keep this podcast going. Y'all, life has been life and so much has transpired in the last 7 months. I have a spouse. I'm a mom. I work a 9 to 5. I also have my own business, being a content creator. I lead, and this life is really full. But every time I wanted to slow down or second guess, God reminded me why I started, sometimes through a message from one of y'all, sometimes through a quiet moment in prayer, sometimes through unexpected opportunities or ideas that come out of nowhere. Provision hasn't just looked like finances, it looked like clarity, energy, alignment, and peace. God will provide. We just have to be faithful to what He gave us. So, what's next with the Style and Grace podcast? So, as we're stepping into this new season, you can expect more guests, more honest conversations, more healing, more real life stories. We'll be talking more about lifestyle and parenthood, faith, forgiveness, finances, and everything in between. And yes, y'all, I am preparing to go visual. I am so looking forward to this. I'm excited to bring this podcast through video and let y'all see the faces behind the stories. But to make that happen, we're going to need a little bit of help. If this podcast has encouraged you in any way and you would like to support the visual transition, there will be a donation link below. Your support, no matter the amount, helps turns this vision into visuals. And I'm thankful for every seed that has been sown this far. Also, be on the lookout because the Style and Grace merch is on the way. I just want to make sure that the products are top tier and truly represent what this space stands for. So just know I got y'all. It's coming up. Now, y'all already know I want to hear from y'all. What topics do you want more of? Who would you love to hear on the podcast? Do you want more solo episodes or you want me to take a deeper dive with guests? Y'all know y'all can shoot me a DM, comment on my post, send me an email. Your feedback definitely does help shape the future of this show. This isn't just my podcast, this is ours. And before I go, I want to say thank you again for 7 months of grace, support, growth, and purpose. Thank you for letting me be me. Thank you for trusting me to speak into your life. Thank you for being part of this community. I believe the best is yet to come. This podcast will not only continue to grow, it will continue to impact. And I'm committed to showing up with intention, with heart, and of course, with style and grace. Until next time, y'all, keep growing and keep going. And as I always say, here is where style meets substance and grace meets real life experiences. I love y'all and thank y'all so much for everything. Cheers to 7 months.